What's up, y'all? Welcome again to the Elite Champions Podcast, Championship Sports Talk every week because we are elite. I'm your host, Nathan Nguyen, and today we have another special guest on the show. We know about last week we had a Miami Dolphins fan by the name of Joaquin Maciel join the show, and today we have a Cardinals fan join the show, Tyler Childers, a longtime friend of mine. We met through also the ColorCast app, but we've made our friendship more than that. We've been talking sports pretty much off the air a lot. Pretty much every week we talk about something sports related, and he's on the show to discuss his Cardinals today. So first off, Tyler, welcome to the show. How you doing today?
Good, man. Thank you for having me. Yeah, we took the friendship offline, as you say. Colorcast was cool, but it's good to chat with you, and thanks for having me. I'm excited to pump up the birds.
Of course. I mean, we're both from two different states. I'm from California. You're originally was in Arizona, but now you're in Boston, if I remember, or if I remember correctly.
Yep.
Look, you're in the East Coast. It's probably what, three something right now over there.
Yeah, it's
So
3:40. It's getting a little late.
yeah, you do anything today special? Not much, huh?
No, we got that Labor Day holiday.
Uh,
Just taking my last weekend of no football, sleeping, waiting. I can't wait. Got the Kansas City Chiefs, 1 p.m. local kickoff, week one. About to shock
oh,
the world, baby.
okay, all right, whatever you say. Look, we'll discuss the whole schedule thing towards the end of the show, but I do want to address um, look, the Cardinals. Let's make sense of this. As I just said last week, I discussed the Miami Dolphins with a guest of mine, and I felt more optimistic about them. Had them going about 10-7 was my prediction for their record. I'm looking at Arizona. I know they have Kyler Murray, who's obviously a better quarterback than Tua. Kyler, in my opinion, is a top 15 quarterback. Top 10, there's an argument for that, but I'm gonna say top 15 just to be safe because I don't have a whole list of me right in front of me to say, oh, he's in the top 10. Not going to do that, but he's top 15, 100%. He can throw, he can run, he's great. You have James Conner, had a breakout year last year. You have DeAndre Hopkins, and you added Marquise Brown at the wide receiver position. That helps out a lot. You still have Zach Ertz. In the draft, it wasn't that exciting, but you got a great tight end in Trey McBride, one of my favorite tight ends coming from the draft. But I'm looking at the roster for Arizona. It doesn't scream Super Bowl contender, nor does it scream a playoff contender just based off what they have to compete with in the NFC, with the NFC West specifically, with the Rams and the 49ers. We're not going to discuss Seattle because Seattle's going to be in the cellar for most of the season. Especially Hopkins is out for 6 games, and Christian Kirk's gone. Even though it doesn't hurt too much, he's still gone. Tyler, in your opinion, what are your thoughts on the Cardinals' quiet offseason? And if you can tell me, why am I wrong? Why am I wrong for saying the Cardinals aren't going to make the playoffs this year?
Yeah, I mean, I would love to tell you why you're wrong. We could start on offense. It seems like that's kind of where you were focusing. DeAndre Hopkins, 6 games for trace amounts of PEDs is absolutely ridiculous. And then you got Deshaun Watson settling 50 sexual harassment cases, and he gets less games after arbitration. Obviously, he gets the 11. But I just, DeAndre Hopkins. First of all, I just want to say free D Hop. My man is not a cheater. We're talking trace amounts. And apparently, this drug test happened in November, and they waited until April to mention it. So I don't know. It just seems a little suspect. Seems like the league is a little mad that he forced his way out of Houston. Can you blame him? I don't blame him. Like, I'd get out of there as quick as I could. So we're talking about D Hop. We got the receiving core. Obviously, we traded the first round pick. We got Marquise Brown. Um, I've been not impressed with Hollywood in Baltimore, but I think that he's going to have, a bounce back year. He's got a better passer. I know Lamar Jackson is, a crazy athlete, but the guy, I just don't believe he really throws the ball. And then you're talking about Kyler Murray, top 15, top 10. This guy's going to be a top 5 quarterback this year. He's got his money. He's, the most accurate deep ball passer in the league. If you look up the stats, passes over 20 yards. That is like, he is number one. So, that is pure talent right there. That's, just being able to sling the rock. I think that that's going to continue. We got Marquise. What people don't talk about is I think Victor Bolden Jr. is about to have a huge impact. He just USFL Finals MVP. He was on San Francisco for a little bit, got some PED trouble, ended up getting waived, found his, second chance in the USFL. Now he's on the Cardinals. He's fired up. This man has made no money. Like, he is fired up. He wants to be on the team. He wants to prove that he belongs. I think he's really going to step in and have a huge impact until DeAndre Hopkins gets back. And then Antoine Wesley, when D-Hop was hurt last year, Antoine Wesley was who we plugged into that spot. He was playing that D-Hop spot because we don't have the 1, 2, 3 type deal. We have D-Hop and then everybody else. D-Hop has his own position. A lot of times he lines up the only person on that side of the field to try to get an isolation or whatever, see if the safeties want to cover the 3 receivers on the other side of the field. So he stepped into that D-Hop role of kind of playing that isolated, moving around position. I thought he really got, pretty good at the end of the season through the middle. I thought Antoine Wesley was not the answer, but seeing him towards the end of the season and then, this preseason, Wesley's been having a good. Bolden Jr. is going to be huge, and Hollywood. And then it's taken me this long to even mention Rondale Moore. Like, Rondale Moore is an absolute stud. He runs 4.3s. Like, we can give him end arounds. He really does play kind of like, that Tyreek, like, just get the ball in his hands and things can happen. I'm not saying he is Tyreek Hill. I'm saying that we should use him like that, running the end arounds, throwing screens, stretching the field. Just get the ball in that guy's hands and he'll make plays. So I don't feel like we're really weak at wide receiver.
I get it. I do. But let's say that it wasn't the wide receiver position that was weak. Let's say, because it's just, of course, Hopkins is not there, but you do have competent pieces to sort of replace him, to hold down the fort until Hopkins comes back. Like you said, Rondale Moore. You have Marquise Brown, who hasn't been a 1,000-yard wide receiver until last year when he barely passed 1,000. He had 1,006, for those of you who want the exact number. Andy Isabella, who pretty much was pretty good in the preseason, was near the top or at the top of receiving yards every game during the preseason for the Cardinals. But my biggest concern is the offensive line. Look, Kyler can scramble all he wants, but we looked at last year against the Rams in the playoffs, didn't look too great. But you can kind of blame the offensive line for that. Coming into the season, they are the 25th ranked offensive line according to Pro Football Focus. All the guys on the line, their average age is about 30 years old, let's say. Is that a big concern to you, or do you feel like it's competent enough to hold down the fort for Kyler?
Yeah, the O-line was definitely exposed through the end of the season when we kind of fell off and the Rams, dismantled us in the playoffs. Kyler was getting beat up. He was already hurt, so he couldn't really run quite the way that he normally does anyways. And then, obviously the O-line not playing well just kind of compounded that. But we got Rodney Hudson at center, proven veteran, million-time All-Pro. I'm not going to look up his stats, but this dude's, one of the best centers in the game right now. He might be on the end of his career, but he still has that experience. He has that, he has that pedigree. I think he can get them right. What I really think the issue was scheming. It got to a point where, they could blitz 5, 6 guys because they knew what everybody was going to do. We had such a simple college-like offense that, we started 8-1 and then nothing changed. Like, Cliff didn't change anything. We kept trying to run the same plays. We kept trying to do everything the same. And you have to have a certain level of, unpredictability. And I think that the offense got too predictable. Cliff didn't change the schemes. And then it just really put our guys in bad positions overall. I really do think that if the offense had been more dynamic, that, especially the Rams in that playoff game, they wouldn't have been able to just hammer Kyler over and over and over because they would have had to guard the whole field. It became a point where, like, they know that we're throwing over here on this. They know we're running this way when we line up here. Like, it was too stagnant. So I think if the offense can be more dynamic and keep it unpredictable, that will really help the offensive line. That'll help Kyler, move around, throw balls. Like, I just really think it comes down to the scheming. because nothing changed. And Cliff has had a trend of, just kind of not doing great in the second half. So I think we need to recognize that, and also recognize that Cliff wasn't really putting people in good positions in the second half of the season. Like, we were 8-1, but everybody caught up and figured out what we were doing, and then nothing changed, and then we barely won another game. So I'm really looking forward to this coaching staff, hopefully being more dynamic, being a little more unpredictable, and kind of spreading the rock around a little more. Because when DeAndre Hopkins isn't on the field, like, what are you going to do?
It's just, yeah,
exactly. For 3 yards every time. Like, I'm hoping this offseason will help, get these other guys ready. I think having DeAndre suspended could be a blessing. Obviously, I'm not saying the team is better with DeAndre Hopkins off the field. What I'm saying is we knew he's suspended coming in, which means we have all this time to work. We have all this time to get these other guys in situations to where they're comfortable when it's game time. All these other guys have all these opportunities to catch balls from Kyler in practice now. So would I prefer to have him on the field? Of course. But I do think that this is good for us. And like last year when he got hurt, everything came to a grinding halt. They're figuring out this preseason, this offseason, how to move the ball without him. And then when he comes back, it's just going to be that much easier.
So despite the offseason you guys had, you feel confident in your team in terms of making the playoffs. You guys think they'll sneak in?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we made the playoffs last year and we didn't win a game after week 10. And we didn't change. Like, that's the whole point. Everybody's like, the Cardinals didn't do anything. The Cardinals were in the first place in the NFC after week 9.
That's true.
So I'm not tripping. Like, everybody's like, oh, the Cardinals are toast, blah, blah, blah. I'm sorry. The 49ers, all they have is a defense. Trey Lance sucks. Jimmy Garoppolo is still on their roster. Brandon Ayuk, haven't seen him in 2 years since his rookie year when he hurdled some dude in the end zone. I'm just saying, everybody wants to get all up on the 49ers. No, the Cardinals have a good squad. The only person we lost on defense is Chandler Jones, and he played the whole season. We only saw him 2 games. Mm-hmm. He had like 7 sacks, and they were in 2 games. He didn't do anything other than that. I think J.J. Watt is way more important to the defense than Chandler Jones. Everybody wants to say J.J. is washed, but when he was on the field last year, he was a game wrecker, absolute game wrecker.
Didn't y'all play the Giants last year? I think we did play y'all last year, didn't we? Oh, no.
That would have been 45-3.
I know. It was like 26-7. I looked it up right now. It was like 26-7 when we played y'all last time. I was going to say, I think Chandler Jones was the one who killed us a lot.
Yeah, and Chandler Jones, he got 5 sacks week 1 last year against Tennessee. He had 5 sacks, and then he didn't have another sack until week 12.
He said, I'm going to get my sacks in week 1.
5 times, and then didn't hit another quarterback for 3 months. Like, I love Chandler, and he's the all-time leading sack leader for the Cards.
Yeah.
But I just feel like he wasn't going to be worth what he was going to have to be paid. And I hope he works out, in Las Vegas for Casey. But I'm not that bummed about that. That's the big departure on the defense. Like, we need some cornerbacks. But other than that, we got safeties, we got linebackers, we got defensive tackles. Like, our defense is solid. Mm-hmm. What did I tell you about Byron Murphy last year?
I know. He's going to be good. And
he's good. He's good.
He's a good player.
Jalen Thompson, we extended him too. He's good.
Yeah, that's right. I was going to get to that as well. I feel like, I guess we're sort of sleeping on this defense. Even though you guys did lose Chandler Jones instead of J.J. Watt. I think a lot of NFL fans are praying that J.J. Watt stays healthy because we haven't seen this guy, on the field as much as we want to. And when he's on the field, he can wreck games just like Chandler Jones did in week 1 last season. But J.J. Watt can be more consistent, but he just has to stay healthy. And we all want that for him. Back in Houston, he had some great seasons, but this ain't Houston anymore. He's out of that poverty franchise and now on a good team. So hopefully he stays healthy as well. And we'll get to Jalen Thompson in a second. I do want to point out Kyler Murray, 14th in passing yards last year, but only played in 14 games. Everyone else above them played pretty much the entire season. So if you really think about it, if you want to do some what ifs, Kyler Murray would have been a top 10 passer passing yard wise if he played the entire season. I'm just saying. I'm just pointing that out. But look, offensively, as long as the offensive line can just hold up and stay healthy, maybe they'll be a top 15, top 20 offensive line. Like I said, 25th ranked according to Pro Football Focus heading to this season, which starts in 3 days. And Kyler needs all the protection he can get, along with James Conner in the backfield. And James Conner also has never been a 16 game starter, especially last year. He played in pretty much every single game, but he never started a full season. So if we can possibly stay healthy as well and play a full season, James Conner could have a breakout year like he did last year, but even better. We talk about Derrick Henry and Christian McCaffrey, who I hate from a fantasy football perspective. But you have Jonathan Taylor, you have Saquon. Well, maybe not Saquon, but
Saquon's gonna have his resurgence this year, but
why?
that's
Thank you,
conversation.
thank you. That means a lot. That means because I have my draft today, as as we're recording this. My draft is today.
I took Saquon at 16 in a 14-team league.
Oh, you're such.
I went Kelsey at 13 and I went Saquon at 16, but I don't want to sidetrack you too much. I think Saquon's going to be back.
Did Tyreek Hill get chosen before your picks or not?
Yeah, he was gone.
God.
All the running backs were gone. It was Travis Kelce or Saquon. I got them both. So
that's good enough, especially when you're in a 14 team league. You don't really have much to work with. You got to make your picks now or lose out.
I don't draft again for 30 picks.
Exactly. So you better make it. Speaking about Jalen Thompson, he did get extended. His contract extension is worth up to $40 million. It keeps him on the team through the 2025 season. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I don't. That's the thing is this isn't a blockbuster deal. He's not, he's not getting Jalen Ramsey money. He's not getting Darrelle Revis money, which that's fine because he's not those guys. He just needs to play on the backside of whatever Buddha is doing and just cover for Buddha, and he's going to be okay. Because Buddha covers everything. Buddha's sacking dudes. Buddha's, picking off Russell Wilson in the end zone. It doesn't matter. Buddha's everywhere. So Jalen Thompson's job is going to be pretty easy. All he has to do is just be where Buddha's not, and Buddha's everywhere. But I think it's a good deal. Our safeties, like I said, our safeties are good. We need to do something at corner because that's our weakness. But I was talking to one of my friends, sidebar about how the corners are a little weak for the Cardinals. He's like, but you guys got those safeties to cover it up. So I think we're going to be seeing a lot of zone defense, honestly, just so we got Thompson and Buddha covering. I hope that Buddha is still rushing. I think that's what makes the Cardinals defense so dynamic. They did it with Tyrann Mathieu when he first came in. We put him on the line, and you didn't know if he was going to bum rush you or if he was going to drop back and cover that slant. And that was really effective. And then, obviously Tyrann and the Cardinals had some issues. They didn't want to pay him. He ended up going to Kansas City. Well, Budda Baker came in and was doing the same exact thing. So, I love the safeties we have. I think Jalen Thompson is going to be set up to succeed generally, just because Buddha is going to be that free safety roaming around. Jalen's just going to have to cover. He's just going to have to let nobody get behind him. And he's pretty quick. So, I don't – and I think it was mostly a signing out of necessity too. Obviously he's not the greatest safety, but he's good enough. And we need to lock down – you're not going to have two Buddhas. You have a Buddha that can run up. You have Jalen who's going to come back and not let anything get behind him. What more could you ask out of a pair of safeties?
Exactly. So when it comes to Jalen Thompson, who was 18th in tackles last year among safeties, so that's great as well. Budda Baker.
That's a problem. When your safety is making that many tackles, that's a problem. So don't let that stat trick you too much.
Excite you oh my God, he's top 20.
Yeah, that's
tackles.
because our safety is tackling running backs.
Which goes to show, which is kind of another question that I forgot to mention to you before the show, and that's Isaiah Simmons. Look, when Isaiah Simmons was in the draft, I wanted him on the Giants, because of his versatility to do a lot of things. But we haven't really seen him have that breakout crazy year that we expect him come out of college. Can he still be that guy, or is this it for him? Because If it's not Isaiah Simmons, it's Zayvon Collins because Collins on the left side, Simmons is on the right side in terms of the 3-4 defense. This is,
Yeah,
in your opinion, I guess a make or break season for Simmons, or is his spot kind of safe right now?
I think he's probably pretty safe. The problem with Simmons is he's been asked to do a lot. They, when they drafted him, he was kind of like that freak athlete that can play anywhere from safety to defensive line and everywhere in between, right? So we drafted him with that in mind. We wanted to drop him into coverage. We wanted to blitz him. We wanted to have him run stop. We wanted to have him do all this stuff. And it's a lot for a kid. I get it. He's such a talented player, but like he can't be Ray Lewis out there his third year. He can't do everything. He can't be a Brian Urlacher or Ray Lewis just occupying that middle and nobody comes through and he stops all the runs and if you throw it past him, he's going to knock it down or blow your guy up. He's not that type of player. So I think asking him to be that type of player was, again, the coaching staff putting players in not great situations to succeed. I think Zayvon Collins coming in, we were like, all right, Zayvon, you're going to be the middle linebacker guy. And then Simmons is going to be able to kind of swing out and play on the edge. You know what I mean? Maybe blitz, maybe swing out, cover a running back, whatever. But Zayvon Collins hasn't worked out. He hasn't worked. He hasn't been anything near what we thought he was going to be. There was times through the season last year when he wasn't even on the field one snap.
Mm-hmm.
And he was perfectly healthy. It was just the coaching staff didn't want to put him out there because they didn't trust him. And so I think Zayvon Collins is going to take that next step. He's going to occupy that middle. He's going to be our tough run stopper dude in the middle. I think that's going to let Simmons play a little more freely. That's going to let him ball hawk a little more instead of just being so focused on stopping the run. I think that is where Simmons is going to succeed is, breaking up short passes, going out on the edge and getting guys in space. And Zayvon Collins should be in the middle, clogging up the middle. I think if Zayvon Collins can occupy the middle, that's going to let Simmons play freely, and that's going to make everybody better.
Okay. Simmons past couple years, only 3.5 sacks, 2 interceptions, but he did increase his tackle total from 54 his first season with the Cardinals to 105, which is a pretty big improvement. So look, if maybe you're right, maybe it's too early to evaluate Simmons. Only 2 seasons in the league. It doesn't, it can't take just 2 seasons for someone to go from rookie to Pro Bowler. It's not for everyone.
Yeah, he needs time to grow. And also,
Exactly.
I want to say, too, like, the stats are a little misleading on Isaiah Simmons because if you watch the games, he is in position to make plays. He makes plays. He does. But, yeah, he only had the 1 interception last year. He only had the 3.5 sacks last year. He should be producing more than that, but he's not a liability. I'm not trying to act like he's a liability. I feel like he does come up clutch. I think 2 years ago, it was when we were playing Dallas. No, it was the Seahawks. That game we tied. We threw a pick. Russell Wilson's driving down the field. There's like 2 minutes left. I'm like, okay, we're either going to lose or we're going to tie. And then Isaiah Simmons just pops through the middle, intercepts the ball. We ended up tying, which is better than a loss. I'm talking 2 seasons ago. But I'm just saying, like, he does show up in clutch times. He makes big tackles when we need him. And I've never been watching a Cardinals game and thought to myself, like, man, Isaiah Simmons just blew it. You know what I mean? Like he's always satisfied me. He always makes the plays. He's not wrecking the game, but he's not ruining the game. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I understand. I got you.
I just want to clarify so it didn't seem like I was slandering my man's.
No, I 100%. I understand. Look, we just hope that Simmons and Collins can be those 2 linebackers that kind of help this defense out. If these 2 can improve on their game, then maybe Jalen Thompson and Buda Baker don't have to do too much. They're safeties for a reason. Just in case something breaks down in front of them, they're there to save the day. You don't want too many of those plays.
These guys should be 18th in tackles, not Jalen Thompson.
Exactly.
Like, these guys should be tackling running backs at the first level, not our secondary.
Exactly. I mean, that goes to show that defense needs a little bit of work, but we'll see as we head into the 2022 season. As you mentioned, they take on the Kansas City Chiefs this Sunday, which I'm excited for you as well. Back to the wide receivers, real quick. You have Hopkins. We're gonna say it again. He's gone for 6 games, but there's one guy in particular it kind of stands out in my opinion, and that's Andy Isabella. Last season, 1 catch, 13 yards. That's all he did. Literally, 1 catch for 13 yards. That's pretty much all he did.
Yeah.
But in the preseason, he looked pretty good. Is that just the preseason, or can we see him as a potential contributor? Because you have Marquise Brown and Rondell Moore, but you kind of need that third guy, don't you?
Yeah, I think that, man, I love Andy. I think he's a great player. Um, but yeah, I think he's just having a good preseason because he's the only one out on the field. I think that our three is going to be Victor Bolden Jr., USFL Finals MVP, DeAndre Hopkins when he comes back. Obviously, don't need to say anything about DeAndre. Marquise Brown, he's gonna excel when DeAndre comes back because he's okay in Baltimore. Who else did they have? Rashad Bateman. That was their number 2. So you're telling me Marquise Brown wasn't doubled basically every play on top of having a quarterback that can't throw the ball. I think Marquise Brown is slept on, and I think he's going to really have a great season. And then Antoine Wesley, who I talked about before, he's on IR right now, but that could be the third until DeAndre gets back. The problem with Andy Isabella is he's not that good. He's fast. He's really fast. That's it. And I'll give him a shout out too, because he's got that Massachusetts. He went to UMass, just right down the street from me in Boston here. So I love the Boston connection. But yeah, at the end of the day, like, what does he do besides run really fast? He doesn't have crazy hands. He doesn't have crazy hops. He doesn't have crazy route running. That's why he had 1 catch last year. So it's, I hope he makes the team for his own sake. But as soon as the regular season starts, he's not going to get balls. Like, if he's getting a ball, it's because both safeties suck down on Hollywood and he's wide open or something. It's not, we're not throwing jump balls to Andy Isabella down the sideline. So I don't think he really has a place on the team. As much as I love the guy, he's a great dude, super fast, but he's undersized. And after his speed, he's average. His speed is what sets him apart. Now, if you want to use him to stretch the field in 5 wide sets and just have Andy Isabella run a 50-yard dash, basically, that'll open up the field for other people. But he's, unless he just absolutely torches somebody, he's not getting the ball. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what they do with him. But I think he's just kind of a placeholder.
Okay. Well, look, if it's not Isabella, you still have 3 guys ahead of him that can make plays. And
we got Greg Dortch, too, who had a good preseason. He's ahead of Isabella on the depth chart.
Would you say he's a better fit than Isabella, or is George sort of in the same category? It's just if needed, George can just step in and kind of just stretch the field.
It's those intangibles. It's like that size. You know what I mean? It's those hands. Like, I don't know the exact specs on Andy, but he's 5'9". You know what I mean? Like, he's fast, but he's only 5'9". He's not going to win jump balls. Like, that's DeAndre Hopkins' greatest asset is you throw a jump ball and he's going to get his hands above everybody else's hands. He's also huge and he wears like 3XL gloves. Like, you can't be doing that with Andy Isabella.
No. I mean, they're, in the NFL, I can't even talk today. There are some good wide receivers.
AJ Green still.
But we're not screaming like, oh my God.
It's like, are you going to throw the ball to AJ Green or are you going to throw it to Andy Isabella?
I'm throwing to AJ Green.
Even though AJ, when we were playing the Packers last year, he thought we were running the ball. If he had just turned around, he would have caught the game-winning touchdown.
That's right. That was him.
That was him. So it's fine. That was the beginning of the end, but it wasn't his fault.
Okay.
I mean, that moment was his fault, but the whole season falling apart wasn't. That was just the beginning of the end. But yeah, I'm just like, we haven't even talked about AJ. Like, yeah, he's old, but like, he's still AJ Green.
Yeah, I mean, he ain't Cincinnati AJ Green, but he's
I mean, he's kind of like Julio. He's not Julio anymore, but he's still Julio.
He's on the Bucks now, isn't he?
Yeah, I think Tom Brady
Uh,
is going to bring him back. Like Tannehill wouldn't throw at him, but I think Brady is going to be using Julio a lot.
I mean, Tennessee got rid of any wide receiver they can get. They could use. So
And honestly, like I'm not saying that AJ Green is as good or was as good as Julio Jones, but I think you see the comparison, right?
oh
Like
yeah, 100%.
talking about an established dude that's on the back end of his career versus a 5'9" kid from Massachusetts that runs like a 4.2 but can't turn. He just goes straight line speed.
Exactly. Look, Arizona, you have sort of convinced me that there's not many issues as I thought there'd be with the Cardinals, which goes to show that I might need to a little bit more studying on the Cardinals. But that's why you're here to educate not only me but our audience on the Cardinals, because let's face it, the Cardinals aren't a big name team. That's why we bring people in here on the podcast like yourself to sort of discuss the Cardinals, to discuss why they're a team to look out for
Can
instead
I
of
interrupt
focusing.
you?
Of course.
You just said the Cardinals are not a big market team, not a big name team, whatever you said. I completely
Yes.
agree. They don't get the love they deserve.
Hmm.
I just want to take this moment to say the video game clause in Kyler Murray's contract. Everybody, wants to be like, Kyler doesn't do it, he doesn't study, blah, 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 and they want to run him through the ringer. All I'm going to say is if the 49ers had done the exact same thing, if the Rams had done the exact same thing, if the Patriots had done the exact same thing, they would have been touted as geniuses on ESPN and how smart they are. Because one thing is all that money that was tied into that clause was not on the salary cap. That lowered his cap hit by them
Hmm.
doing that. That's a good move by Steve Keim. He was doing the studying anyways. And as Kyler said, he's like, if you think that I played Call of Duty all week and started the season 8-1 and I'm not watching 4 hours of film, like I'm flattered that you think I'm that naturally good. And I thought that was the best response. So I just want to say, if these other teams are doing it, oh, they'd be geniuses. If Aaron Rodgers had a clause that he couldn't get 100,000 or whatever, $1 million of his contract unless he didn't do shrooms all year, they'd be like, oh, genius, genius. They just took $1 million off the cap hit. $1 million is a player that's on the field. Like that's not, obviously you're talking $40 million versus $41 million cap hit. That's nothing to Kyler. But to the team, that's a whole nother player. You get JJ Watt in here for $1 million a year. That's that's an extra player that they were trying to get by manipulating the terms of the contract. So I just want to put that out there that people don't understand the situation. They want to talk smack on Kyler and judge it at its face, but it was a good move. And if other teams had done it, they would have been geniuses. So I just want to put that out there.
I'll be completely honest before we move on. Be completely honest with you. When I saw the whole video game thing, I was shocked. I really was, to the point where I was like, you know what? Maybe Kyler is lazy. Maybe he is, because if they have to put this in the contract, then maybe something is wrong. But the fact this kind of changed my mind. It was pretty funny. And you know about this. In the preseason, we saw Kyler with the headset and the little play sheet and everything. He was
It looked
calling
like he was
plays.
playing games.
And he looked pretty good too. I mean, to the point where the team was scoring touchdowns compared to when Kingsbury was calling plays. Obviously, that's not going to happen in the regular season, but that kind of shows that Kyler is capable of Obviously, he hasn't, in my opinion, earned the I'm going to change the play call whenever I want, whenever I want, like Tom Brady does. But Kyler is capable of doing what he sees fit. Kind of not just based off what we saw in the preseason, but Kyler Murray is an established quarterback. He is someone where NFL fans can say that guy belongs in the league, compared to a Daniel Jones, a Tua, guys like that. Just because this whole video game thing was mentioned doesn't mean he's a bad quarterback. Like you mentioned, they were 8-1 last year. I know they kind of fell off down the stretch, but yeah, still made the playoffs. You guys are still contenders in the NFC. It's just a matter
We're
of
one game away from being the 1 seed in the NFC. I just
exactly.
want to throw that out there. We could have went and played San Francisco if we had just won one more game.
I think y'all could have beat San Francisco. I think y'all could have.
I think so too. We own them.
Look, speaking about San Francisco, you guys are in the NFC West, but of course, there's other teams that y'all face off this season. So, I do have the schedule right next to me. I'm going to pull it up right now and kind of share with the two of us, between the two of us, I should say. And let's go through it. Look, week 1, Kansas City, big matchup. This is at home in Arizona. If it was in Kansas City, I would have gone the Chiefs all the way. But we'll start off with you. Are the Cardinals going to beat the Chiefs in week 1?
This one, I mean, obviously, all the money is going on Kansas City as far as the general public is concerned. I think that the Cardinals have a chance. I think that KC is going to have to figure out their offense after losing Tyreek Hill. Juju Smith-Schuster is spending time with Jackson Mahomes doing TikTok dances, so he actually doesn't know the playbook yet.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, it's going to be a tough game. I'm going to be rooting for my birds, but I think that one could go either way. I think being in Arizona is definitely helpful because the State Farm Stadium now, it used to be called the University of Phoenix. State Farm Stadium is always raucous. They've sold out every game since they opened that place. And also, since they opened that place, they have the most false starts of any stadium. You can say that about Seattle, but Seattle Stadium is older. So, that's true about both statements. Since Lumen Field open, they've had the most false starts. Since University of Phoenix, now State Farm open, they've had the most false starts. I don't know which one is actually more, but I'm just saying that is a comparable building to playing in Seattle, and people don't talk about it. That building goes nuts. Sold out every game they've ever played there, and it's always the Cardinals fans. Arizona fans get a bad rep for being fair weather fans, but the Bird Gang always shows up. So I think that'll help. That should help balance it. It'll be a coin flip, but I'm rooting for the Birds.
So you're saying a win?
I'm gonna say win. Yeah.
All right, good start for the Cardinals. I want to know.
Talk about Las Vegas. I don't care about Devontae Adams. Derek Carr is overrated as hell, and he's just not a winner. He's a stat guy, but he's not a winner. So that one's a win. Let's move to week 3.
Okay, week 3 against the Rams. What do we got?
I was really upset. Last year we beat the Rams. We whooped them in this week 3 matchup. And then later on in the season we lost. So I expect, I don't think the Rams, they shouldn't have even won the Super Bowl. But anyways, are you kidding me?
Why?
Jamar Chase absolutely cooked Jalen Ramsey on the last play of the game. And if Joe Burrow had a half a more second, I'm not faulting Joe Burrow. He had Aaron Donald fucking ripping his head off. But if he had a half more second, he could have thrown a little lobber to Jamar Chase, and the Bengals would have won the Super Bowl. Jamar cooked Jalen. Cooked him.
Yeah, but it's not just that, though, because the Rams defense just completely overpowered the offensive line for Cincinnati.
Right, and that's how they won. I'm just saying, if Joe Burrow had a half more second, Jamar Chase was out there cooking Jalen Ramsey and would have had a walk-in touchdown with 20 seconds left in the Super Bowl. I get it. They got to him. They won the game. I just, I would have liked to see if Joe could have got that ball up in the air, what would have happened, because Jalen Ramsey was on his ass. I hate Jalen Ramsey, but that's a whole nother story for now.
He's a solid corner. You got him.
He's good. I'm not saying he's not good. I just hate him.
I understand, but y'all play in the same division, so it makes sense.
He's annoying, bro. He's that guy on Instagram when the quarterback overthrows the ball 10 yards, and then he's the DB going like this, and the wide receiver's like, that shit landed 10 yards out of bounds. Why are you dancing on me? That's Jalen Ramsey.
All right, fair enough. So I assume
Carolina, Philly, Seattle. I think we both agree those are wins, right?
But are we losing to the Rams, though?
No, we're going to win. We'll lose to the Rams in week 10, but we're going to win the week 3 one.
But you're going to beat Carolina, Philly, Seattle, and New Orleans.
New Orleans, I'm not too sure about because I don't know what's going on down there. But Carolina, Baker Mayfield, Christian McCaffrey's going to be hurt by week 4. So
exactly, there's really no
Philly.
plan.
Philly actually caused problems for us last year. Jalen Hurts actually tossed us up last year, so that could be interesting. But I got to ride.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Seattle,
no chance. Yeah. Who's playing quarterback in New Orleans right now? I haven't been keeping up with them enough.
You know the guy who sucks his fingers, Jameis Winston? Yeah, that dude. The one.
Oh, Jameis is back. Oh, he's a dog. Jameis is a dog, dude. He got that dog in him.
That don't mean nothing if he can't win.
Well, yeah, we'll put that one down as a win too. So what are we at 7-0 right now?
Jesus Christ. Yep.
Got it. My honest opinion, if you ask me game by game, I'm going to say we win every game.
It seems like it so far.
My honest opinion, though, like not picking game by game, I think we're going to be 14-3, 13-4. Minnesota, we beat them last year. That was a really good game. It was high scoring, but we beat them. Seattle's ass. I do think the Rams will probably beat us at home week 10. So, what, 9-1? You act like we didn't start 8-1 last year.
13-4.
All right, let me just pick the 4 teams I think we'll lose to. We'll lose to the Rams.
Perfect.
We'll lose to the Rams in week 10. We might lose to the Chargers. I'll put that in one of them, even though I think that the Chargers are overrated.
Okay.
We'll put Denver in just because Russell Wilson loves shitting on us, and it's in Denver. If it was in Arizona, I would not pick them. And then I'll say Tampa Bay, just because I think we could beat them, but Tom Brady is Tom Brady, and that's late in the season, so they're going to be, they're going to be right. They're going to have everything figured out. So yeah, those are the 4. If I think we go 13-4, and honestly, I don't even think we're going to lose to Denver. 14-3.
I'm trying to find the right thing to say here because
you don't want to, be rude, but you're like, you are dumb.
No, like I'm just that guy. Like, I'm not gonna be like, no, you're wrong. Like, no, you're dumb. No, because you know what, you
pull it back up. Tell me where we're gonna have issues in your eyes. Pull it back up. I'm not even gonna argue with you. I just want to hear what you have to say. Like, it ain't like that. Don't worry.
No, I got you. Look, we've been been boys for a long time, so I'm pulling it up right now. I lost it for a second, so 13-4 is a bold statement. Like, there has to be something where I'm missing here. So as I'm pulling it up right now for those who are watching and for our audience listening on Spotify or wherever you get your podcast, the schedule right here. All right, here we go.
I mean, we limped in at 11-6. People act like we shit the bed and weren't even 500. Like, we finished the season 11-6, and that was a huge disappointment, and we didn't win a game in the second half of the year. But go ahead.
Okay. So, week 1, Kansas City at home.
We'll probably lose that one.
Yeah, Patrick Mahomes. It's gonna be close though, because you don't got Tyreek.
Take the Denver one out. When I said Denver was gonna win, take Denver out and put Kansas City in. That feels better.
In week 1?
Yeah. Like, we'll beat Denver, but we'll lose to KC.
Okay. So we both agree that they're gonna lose to Kansas City in week 1. It'll be a close game, but Patrick Mahomes, and it might take, in my opinion, a little bit of a time for Kyler and the rest of his receivers to sort of bond together, even though they have played okay in training camp and whatnot. To me, it'll take a little bit of some time. So I do have them losing in week 1 against Kansas City. Week 2, this is not because of Casey. I want to, make sure this is not because of Casey. I'm looking at the Raiders. I'm not saying, oh my God, the Raiders are going to blow out the Cardinals, but I'm looking at Derek Carr. In my opinion, based off what I've seen from Carr, what he's had to work with, I get it. Stat patter. Before last season, he's been a stat patter forever. But based off last season, and you add in Devontae Adams, you add in the weapons the Raiders have with Hunter Renfrow and so on and so forth. The defense kind of improved a little bit with Chandler Jones, who was, like you mentioned, a former Cardinal himself. I do feel like the Raiders have the upper hand. I got the Raiders winning in week 2. Now, the Cardinals are going to wake up right after the Raiders game. They'll be like, you know what? This is it. We're not going to go 0-3, 0-4, 0 no. We're going to start against the Rams. It's going to be a big game against the Rams at home. We're going to beat the Rams in week 3. That's great. 1 and 2, right? Yeah, Carolina, Philly, Seattle, New Orleans, Minnesota, and then Seattle again. In my opinion, I got y'all winning against the Panthers, the Eagles, the Seahawks, the Saints, and Minnesota. So that puts y'all at what? 5 and
6 and
5
2.
and 2.
6 and 2.
6 and 2. Okay, there you go.
And then Seattle again.
That's
we beat them twice in week 9. So 7 and 2.
7-2.
Now we're at week 10 with LA.
That kind of where it buckles down. I give them a loss for that one because it's in Los Angeles. They kind of lost, they lost y'all in week 3, so they're gonna come out firing in week 10 and just somehow beat y'all. Maybe it's a blowout. I don't know. I'm just gonna say y'all, they beat y'all. Just saying. San Francisco at home. That's a win. Monday Night Football. Y'all gonna beat the Niners. Come on, Trey Lance. We don't even know if he's gonna be starting by then because Jimmy G is right there behind him to take his spot.
So Jimmy will be starting by week 4.
Damn, really? We give him 3 games, Trey Lance.
If he doesn't get hurt, he's gonna suck.
All right, fair enough.
They should have never drafted him at 3, but that's that's what you get when you take the 3rd pick in the draft from North Dakota State. Like, you think Alabama didn't see this guy? I'm sorry, go on.
I love you, Mac Jones. I'll tell you that. Mac Jones from Alabama, I like him.
So through week 11, you got us at 9 and 2.
Yes.
And then we got LA.
Well, I think no. Let's see. By week 11, I have y'all at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 3 because I have y'all losing to Kansas City, the Raiders, and then the Rams in week 10.
Oh, okay, my bad.
No, you're good. All good.
And then so we beat San Fran in week 11.
Mm-hmm. And then I feel like week 12 against the Chargers at home. I'm gonna say L for that one. I don't know. Justin Herbert, he's gonna have a breakout year this year. I feel it. I feel it this year with the Chargers.
So Chargers win.
Mm-hmm. Chargers win. So I have y'all at what 7 and
4 losses now.
Okay, so that's 8 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah,
7 and 4. Okay, and then bye week, and then you have the Patriots. I go with the win for that one. Yeah, I'll go with the win for that one. It's
Monday Night Football. I wish the game was in New England, but it's in Arizona, so I can't go.
That's right. Ah, man, because you live in Boston. You would have gone that one.
I have class on Mondays, so I can't just go and come back.
You can watch it though.
Oh, I'll watch it, but I want to be there. I want to be in a bar in Boston, fucking drinking their tears.
Week 15 against Denver. I'll go with a win. I just feel like just because Russell Wilson, it doesn't mean anything. It's Russell Wilson. Plus Hopkins will be back. He's gonna roast Patrick Surtain. I just feel it. I feel it in my soul.
So we'll beat Denver.
Yep. Y'all, Tampa. I'll go with the L for that one. I can't go against the GOAT for this one. But honestly, I think the last 2 games against Atlanta and SF, y'all have a great chance. So
that's 5 L's.
That's not bad though, huh?
That's 12 and 5 on your pick. Not even biased. That's 12-5.
That's not bad.
So I don't think my 13 and 4 is that crazy. That's only one more win than what you just said.
That's true.
See, everybody wants to act like the Cardinals are cool or like they suck, and then you go game by game, and you're like, oh, they could probably win that one. Oh, they could probably win that one, and then you got us at fucking 12 and 5. That's better than last year, and we didn't even win a game the last half of last year. See, look at that. It only took 49 minutes, and we got you on board with the Cards now.
Thank God you're here. You know that? Thank God you're here.
The Rams are going to be tough, but I think we can win the division.
That is true. I mean, there's a fighting chance, so in the NFC West, but
and that's the thing too. The first time we played the Rams last year, we dismembered them. Like we cut them up into little pieces and put them in bags, and then we strewn it all around Los Angeles.
You make it seem like a murder scene.
That's because we murdered them. And then obviously they murdered us later. But I'm just saying, the first time we played them, I was like, this team is a bunch of dogs. And then, injuries got to us too. D-Hop was hurt. Kyler was hurt. James Conner was hurt. Obviously that's going to happen. J.J. Watt was hurt. Obviously that's going to happen. But I don't think all of the key guys are going to get hurt again. And we went 11-6, and people act like we were a fucking train wreck. Like, I think 6-11 would have been a success for a lot of teams that we get compared to. 11-6.
I hope my Giants win 11 games.
Yeah, that's what we did last year, and it was a disappointment, and everybody wants to bag on us. So I'm just saying. And then we didn't do anything in the offseason. Oh, yeah, because we went 11-6, and we were started the season 8-1 until everybody got hurt. Oh, yeah. I'm stoked. I think we're going to have some dogs this year.
I think it's the philosophy of if it ain't broke, there's no need to fix it. Or don't change it.
The only thing you could argue that's broke is Cliff, and they just extended him. So
you don't like him?
He's too predictable. It's like the stuff I said at the top of the show. Like, he's the reason that last season fell apart. Like, even back to his Texas A&M days. Like, how is that? When people were saying that at first that it was Cliff, I was like, no way. Do you look at the stats? You're like, how the fuck has this guy done this every year he's been a head coach? Like, he literally could be like 9-0 at Texas A&M, and he finishes 9 and whatever. You know what I mean? Like, doesn't win again. Like, it's shocking when you see the stats. You're like, this guy's teams have done this every year since he started coaching football. And you're like, okay, these are grown men. They're not college kids. Like, the coach. Blah, blah. No, it's the coach. It's the schemes. Like, even Cliff said this offseason, he's like, I got to be better. I try to ride the same thing all season. We need to be more creative. We need to make it more difficult on the defensive coordinators. So, yeah, I think Cliff is the one that needs to step it up. Kyler is good.
Mm-hmm.
Our team is good. They're fine. Cliff needs to step it up.
Would you? Okay, let's say
all the plays.
Because he's the one that calls the plays, isn't he? Not the
he's the one running the offense. Like, honestly, at this point, let Kyler do it. Just let Kyler do whatever he wants.
He did pretty good in the preseason.
Amen, brother. He can
see it. Look at the hair. You see his hair, Kyler's hair? I know it's off topic, but his hair is just all...
He knows how to call plays because he's been playing a lot of Madden. But his hair looks good. I like his hair.
You said custom. Madden's broken, by the way. I don't know if you got it yet, but Madden is.
I didn't buy this year. Last year pissed me off too much.
I know it changed this year though. If you got the next gen consoles, you're good. It's just you gotta wait till like.
I saw the dudes. They had the pre-order going. I saw some Instagram videos. They were all saying it was still broken. So I was like, I'll save the money.
Yeah, should have done that.
You got to get FIFA, bro.
I did get FIFA. You in 23?
I don't have 23 yet. Did it already come out?
Nah, but it's coming out this month. I'm getting it. If you're getting it, I'm getting it. You know that.
Well, I'm getting it.
All right, then you gotta join my club, bro.
All right. I only play goalie.
Hell no. If you're a goalie, you got some balls because man, if you allow one goal, the whole team's gonna rat on you. You know that.
It's so boring back there. I'm actually sick at goalie, but it's boring.
I know. I'm a striker, so I score goals. I can't play defender. I can play mid for y'all, but like it has to be Cam, the attacking midfielder, because I just can't. I can't stay.
Like, I don't get back on D.
Nah, like I'll play a little bit of defense. Like I'll sneak up and like get the ball from you, but like y'all better give me the ball when I'm running down the field because my guy, I'm a fast striker. You better give me the ball and I'm gonna go. I'm like Tyreek Hill, but like in soccer.
Stop.
Before we end the show, I do want to address something to not just you but the audience. I've been a Lakers fan for a long time. It might not even make a difference in y'all lives. Y'all might not even care. The Lakers, very, very questionable to the point where I am questioning my own Lakers fandom. Hell, my girl and her brother have convinced me to be Warriors fans. I'm not gonna do that. They just won the championship. I'm not gonna do that.
Come over to Phoenix. You can get in before we win.
I can't go with the orange and I don't like the color scheme. It's weird, but I just can't do it. So I am no longer a Lakers fan. I still have LeBron jerseys. I like him. I can see I just like him. I don't like the team. I'm done. I just can't do it. Our future is screwed. Our fans are delusional as hell. I'm not gonna do that. So I'm not gonna associate myself with that franchise. So I'm an open book. Maybe it's the Warriors, the Suns. Maybe I'll just root for the Bulls because Lonzo's there. I like Lonzo. I really do. Wish he was in LA still. If he was still with the Lakers, I like the Lakers still. But he's not. So he's gone. So, as we all know, the Lakers play with the Warriors, the Suns, the Kings, and the Poverty Clippers. And as we know, Tyler, not only are you a Cardinals fan, but you're a Suns fan. Great. And we don't have much time to discuss the whole Suns offseason, even though we will bring you on in the future when the NBA season starts to discuss the Suns. If I could describe the Suns in one word, it'd be awkward because y'all just came off a blowout loss to the Mavericks in Game 7 of the Western Conference semifinals. Yes, Western Conference semifinals. And DeAndre Ayton almost left for Indiana because the Pacers gave him a lot of money. But he ended up staying in Phoenix, and that's kind of awkward because to sign this agreement to go to Indiana, if Phoenix doesn't want to extend you, and then you're back in with Phoenix, it's awkward because you're like, oh, well, hello again. Hi Chris Paul, hi Devin Booker, hi Mikal Bridges. It's kind of weird. What am I missing from the Suns? Are they still contenders, or is there something that's missing with Phoenix that needs to be fixed before the regular season starts? Because everyone is still there. Devin Booker is there. He was the cover athlete for 2K23. Chris Paul is still a savvy veteran. And you still have Mikal Bridges, who I really like myself. He's a Phillies fan too, which is cool. But is Phoenix missing something, or are they going to roll into the season with the same roster they have right now?
I think the answer to both of those questions is yes. Like they are missing something, and they are going to roll into the season with the same roster. The only person that's left that I can think of is JaVale McGee, and he was a good backup for DeAndre. He's obviously not a starting center anymore, or I mean, he can. He's just not going to have that production like DeAndre Ayton has. And the thing with DeAndre is that was his team saying, we know we can get this money. Bob Sarver did not want to pay him that money. His team tried to get that money from Phoenix Suns without getting anybody else involved. They're like, I promise you, we can get this money elsewhere. And basically the Suns, their response was, all right, show us that you can get this money elsewhere. And then if you get it, we'll pay it. So they went to Indiana. They got this deal. The Suns matched it. We cannot have DeAndre Ayton leave. We would have a huge hole in center while Book is in his prime. Chris Paul, maybe one or two more goes. Bridges is nasty. Cam Johnson is nasty. He didn't come back after the injury quite right. He hit that game winner for like 50 points in New York, and Julius Randle kneed him in the quad. And then he missed like a month after that. Yep. And then he never really came back right. So I expect Cam will be better. Cam Johnson, I should say. Cameron Payne, super streaky, but I love the energy he brings. Mikal Bridges, dog. Should have been Defensive Player of the Year. But we've already had that conversation.
Yes. Yeah.
Chris Paul, good. Devin Booker, good. DeAndre Ayton, though, this guy, man. DeAndre Ayton, I tell my friends this all the time when we're watching the Suns. Watch DeAndre Ayton. He's going to get 20 points. He's going to get 10 rebounds. He's going to be 80% from the field. And he's going to have 5 assists. And he runs the pick and roll with Chris Paul. And then the day I told my friends that, it was at halftime. And DeAndre Ayton had 20 points, 10 assists, 80% from the field. Actually, like 85. He was like 9 from 11 or something. I don't know how that comes out. But he was above 80%. I'm just saying, DeAndre Ayton is a dog. And this dude started shooting threes at the end of last year. DeAndre Ayton is getting range. So, like, you cannot let him leave. And if we did, we would have a huge hole. So he probably got more than what they wanted to give him because Indiana facilitated the money. Mm-hmm. But Indiana would have been on the hook if we said no. So that was a gamble for them, too. They would have paid him, though. But then what would they have done with him? Like, you know what I mean? They don't have Devin Booker. They don't have Chris Paul.
They have Tyrese Halliburton.
Yeah, but what else? Like, you can't say that the Pacers are even half as deep as the Suns. I'm just saying he would have been the guy. In Phoenix, he's like the third or fourth guy, which
Exactly.
really helps him play well. He gets boards, he gets buckets, he's efficient from the field, he plays the pick and roll. We had to pay him. We just had to pay him. But I think that's also our weakest position because when he comes off the floor, Frank Kaminsky's gone, JaVale McGee's gone. I don't even know who we have to play the five off the bench right now, if I'm being honest with you, which is kind of troublesome.
Somebody got to play that spot.
Somebody's gonna play it. Yeah, it's gonna be like Torrey Craig or somebody.
I just hope y'all beat the heck out of the Lakers, man. I'm done with them, dude.
Oh, that's all we do. I love watching the Lakers be miserable.
I'm gonna like it too. I'll tell you that.
As a longtime Suns fan, I remember Kobe cutting up Steve Nash. Like the Suns never got one. We had so many good teams, even before Steve Nash, like Charles Barkley's teams that made it to the finals. Like Steve Nash made it to the Western Conference Finals multiple times and got cut down by Kobe. Or the Spurs. Like we've always had, not always, sometimes we're really bad, but we've gone through these, phases where we're good and we're just still not good enough. And I think that's kind of where we are again. I thought 2 years ago was our chance. We blew a 2-0 lead to the Bucks in the finals. Last year we got massacred by the Mavericks after we played a tough series against the Pelicans. We should have swept the Pelicans. I give them props. They played really good. And Brandon Ingram, dog.
Oh yeah,
Brandon Ingram is sick. The fact that they traded all those pieces from LA and now the LA new Lakers are in New Orleans, like you got to be a little disappointed with that trade. For Anthony Data Davis, street clothes.
Yeah.
You guys gave who did you give? Brandon Ingram. Who else?
Lonzo, Josh Hart.
Lonzo, who's gone
first
now.
Rounders. That's the thing. That's what I was talking about because this dude on Twitter, for y'all don't know, I'm not the one that likes to go into Twitter feeds because there's really no point. Like it's just social media.
The whole app, bro.
I love Twitter. Like I really love Twitter to the point I'll take Twitter over TikTok. I'm just that guy. I'll take Twitter over Snapchat. I just love Twitter. That's where I get all my news. It's where I get to see all the rumors and everything. I love Twitter. But the point that it's just these Lakers fans are so delusional to the point where great, we got Patrick Beverley, but we traded away Taylor Horton Tucker and Stanley Johnson. We realized that Horton Tucker was our only trade piece that was tradable, and now we're saying, oh, now we're going to get Jordan Clarkson. Oh, now we're going to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Wait. Is Indiana really going to accept Russell Westbrook for Buddy Hield and Miles Turner when Indiana sort of has a young sort of thing going on over there?
Russell Westbrook is dead weight. Nobody wants that contract right now.
Nobody wants it.
He has to prove that he can play again before he's even an option. And that's the thing, too. It's funny because DeAndre Ayton, he was going to be the main trade piece to get Kevin Durant. Mm-hmm. But once Indiana stepped in and did that, and then we matched it, we can't trade him for over a year now. We can't trade him till January of next year. Not like this next January, like 4 months till January and then a year. Exactly. Then we can trade DeAndre Ayton. So, yeah, like it's the same deal. We can't trade Ayton because the rules. Y'all can't trade Westbrook because he's getting paid $40 million a year to throw up air balls.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the thing because we need
to get away from Braun. I think if he wasn't on Braun's team and he could be the guy.
But that's crazy because he was the one, LeBron was the one who initiated this. He was the one that said, he told the front office, get me Westbrook because I'm going to do something that Kevin Durant, James Harden, Bradley Beal couldn't do. And that's play with Westbrook. That hasn't worked. They played in 20 games last season. Yeah, because of injuries and yada, yada, yada. We saw in the first game of the season against the Warriors, LeBron went for 30. Davis went for 30, and then Westbrook went for 4 points.
Yeah. Westbrook, I hope he can come back because I love watching him. He's super fun to watch when he's on.
That's the thing. Last
year was painful. I mean, I love watching the Lakers be miserable, but I felt bad for the guy.
But he needs his own team. That's the thing. But what franchise just OKC?
Oklahoma City. The
Go
team
back
he
there.
came from.
Yeah, but
He could have stayed there. He could have had all those kids just eating out of the palm of his hand. He could have been the man. He could have had
yeah,
Chet. Obviously, Chet, he's not durable enough, and he's already going to miss the whole season. But
I know.
like, he needs a team like that. He needs to be on like a Pelicans type team where he has like all these young kids. Like, the thing with the Suns that I think is really working is Chris Paul is very vocal and wants everything done a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
That only works on certain teams. Chris Paul couldn't go to Brooklyn and tell Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving how the fuck they're going to do things. But he showed up in Phoenix and he said, Devin, this is how you're going to do it. And Devin said, okay. Westbrook needs a team like that. I do feel they're kind of similar. They are very set in their ways. They play a very specific type of way. They're very valuable to their teams in certain situations. I think Westbrook needs a team like that, a young team that's going to follow him. And, because he's playing with LeBron. LeBron's like, no, this is how I do it. I'm LeBron. And then all this, oh, I'm not the man anymore, and we're not doing it my way. And I think it just really unravels from there.
Mm-hmm. I think plus the fact that the new head coach, Darvin Ham, was like, I want Westbrook to be a defensive-minded guy.
Bro, he don't play defense. He's going to get the points back on the other end.
You don't play defense.
He's going to get him back on the other end. He's not going to stop you. He's just going to match you.
It's just you can't fix this team. I'm going to probably separate this in 2 episodes, one with just the NFL talk and one with the NBA talk, because it's just ridiculous to the point where, okay, you know what? Hear this. I'm the Lakers GM, right? I get Patrick Beverley. That's great. Great. Rob Pelinka, you did a heck of a job. I'm stuck. What, you think we're in September? Season starts next month, which is really fast. Wow. It just seemed like yesterday was the end of the finals, and now we're already into next season, which is great. We say that Westbrook needs his own team. That's why we're all saying, oh, Indiana's going to take him, because if we can get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner, then Russell Westbrook comes in. It's him and Tyrese and whoever is over there in Indiana, and that's pretty much it. Russ has his own team. They get what they want. He
gets his triple doubles.
Exactly.
They don't make the playoffs.
Exactly. And the Lakers have supposedly a roster that can win a championship. So if that's the case, let's say the rest, the trade goes through. Maybe, people come back at me and say, oh, you were wrong. And the Lakers made it work. They traded away their draft picks, 2027 and 2029. And so on and so forth. Look, I'm going to sit here and tell you the truth. And I know it's tough as Lakers fans. And it sucks because Kobe's not here anymore, and to the point where it's like, it's hard to say personally because Kobe's gone.
Bro, Kobe's the GOAT. Just throw that out there.
He really is. He is. And I wish he was still here. And it's to the point where if he was, with the Lakers and owning them still, maybe owning them or being a coach and whatnot, I'd feel more confident in myself. I'd feel that the Lakers would sort of, be a team I would still love to root for. But it's just he's not there anymore. And it sucks that he's not. We can't change the past. But here's the thing. We need to stop being delusional. Not we, but them. Just Lakers fans in general. We need to stop being delusional. We can't sit here and say, we are the Lakers. We can get whoever we want, whenever we want. We have the pieces we can to get these players. No, it doesn't work that way. We need to understand that we need to be realistic. The Lakers cannot trade Russell Westbrook to the Pacers. It's not going to work. We can sit here and say, oh, they can trade their 2027 and 2029 picks. Oh, those 2 picks are the most valuable assets that teams want right now.
Because they don't have 23, 24, 25.
We don't have. Yes. Are they going to wait? We're in 2022. They're going to wait 7 years or 5 to 7 years for a draft pick? No. Teams want to win now. Unless you're OKC, unless you're Detroit, you want to win now. No one's going to want those picks. We can't say, oh, we're going to trade those 2 picks. We're going to get Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. Oh, we're going to get Jordan Clarkson and Bojan Bogdanovic. Where are we? No. You're stuck. Oh, I want Westbrook to be a defensive minded. No, he's not going to be a defensive minded player. That's not who he is. He gives effort. He gets rebounds. He gets points. He gets triple doubles. Yeah, that's great, but that's what he does. You can't change him. He's a veteran. You cannot change Russell Westbrook. Anthony Davis, dude, are you working out? Really? Are you sitting there playing GTA? There's a difference between me and Davis. I can play GTA. I'm not in the NBA, even though I'd love to be in the NBA. Anyone else would to get that type of money. I can play GTA if I wanted to. Davis, your calves are as skinny as a stick. Go do some calf raises. Go work out your legs, dude. That's why you're hurt every damn time. Every time you hit the floor, everyone panics because we're like, oh, God, you hit the ground, you're probably hurt. LeBron James can do everything by himself. I love LeBron. I love LeBron. I question his GM moves, but I love LeBron. Just completely. Look, it's just this all started when he said, I'm going to get Westbrook because I want people to know that I can play with him. I'm like you, Kevin Durant, or you, James Harden, or Bradley Beal, or whoever, that I could play with Westbrook. It doesn't work. You screw this up for yourself. That's why Jeannie Buss is like, that's why I didn't want him. That's why I'm not willing to trade my 2 draft picks I have left. Because in 2024 and 2025, the Pelicans choose what pick they want. So unless the Lakers suck in 2024, it's up to the Pelicans.
And if the Pelicans do good and the Lakers are bad, the Pelicans can win and pick early.
Exactly. That's the thing. We're screwed. The Lakers are screwed. No matter how you put it, no matter who you bring in a Patrick Beverley, that's all you do? What, you think Damian Jones and Anthony Davis is going to sit? No. Enough with this bullcrap, dude. You're not going to win anything. That's why the Warriors are over there chilling with the championship, because they built it the right way. They didn't trade their young pieces. They had their struggles early.
They let them grow. They took a couple bad seasons instead of blowing everything up to get the hot trade piece in.
Exactly. You bring in a Stephen Curry, you bring in a Klay Thompson, you bring in a Draymond Green. Even with the rough patches, you keep them together. You keep that team chemistry. And look at them. They're chilling on the water, on the sea. And, they're having fun with their trophy. And Draymond Green is talking shit on this podcast, which he deserves to because he won a chip and whatnot. You still have Jordan Poole, who I love. My girl loves Jordan Poole. Like,
Jordan Poole's sick.
Oh, he won my heart too. Like, he can. Oh, I mean, he's the next Splash Brother. They are set. Golden State is set. Even with the pieces they gave, they lost with Gary Payton II and Juan Toscano Anderson, who the Lakers picked up because they think he's going to be the next great piece in LA. No, he's not. Juan Toscano didn't do crap in Golden State. What makes you think he can do something in LA? He's not going to do nothing. I'm sorry. I love Juan. He's a great guy. Not going to do nothing. Sorry. Who else? The worst. Damian Lee went to Phoenix. Okay, great. No offense to you, but Lee is not going to do crap for the Phoenix Suns. He's not. It's Damian Lee. The only reason why he was with the Golden State was because he was Steph's brother-in-law. Let's face it. Not going to do much either. Golden State brings them some young pieces in the draft. The Lakers didn't do that. Well, they got Max Christie. Really? Max Christie is going to save the Lakers franchise when LeBron leaves? No. If anything, Max Christie is going to get traded within the next 6 months at this point. Christie is gone, in my opinion. But let me calm down for a second.
I want to say, I thought it was interesting you said Kobe. I've never thought about what Kobe Bryant would be doing right now if he were still here. But I think that you raised a really interesting point because, like how Magic got involved. Obviously, that didn't work out. But, I've never thought of that. But, if Kobe was still here, he would be up in there telling them what is wrong. You know what I mean? Like, he would be in there even if he didn't have a real position, he would be a consultant or an advisor. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I've never realized how much that's affected the Lakers the last few years, not having him, because he never did that, right? So I never thought of him like that. But when you say it and like it gets your brain going, you're like, yeah, absolutely. Kobe would be there helping the buses and like trying to work with LeBron and probably in the gym with Russell, helping Russell get out of his own head.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing because Kobe is the type of guy who will step in and say, "This is what you're doing wrong." You know what? I will say this to the point where, like you said, Kobe would have sort of prevented this sort of partnership between Westbrook and LeBron and AD. Maybe AD may not even be on the team if Kobe was still here. If he was a consultant, well, maybe Kobe did want Anthony Davis on the Lakers because
I feel like Kobe
Davis.
would have been like, don't trade for him. He's soft. Like Kobe is
That
so
is true
blunt.
because Kobe is
Kobe
that type
is
of
so
guy.
blunt, and Kobe is like, I know everybody says it all the time now. Oh, he's a dog. Oh, he's got that dog in him. Like, Kobe Bryant is the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Kobe Bryant has that Mamba. Like, even today, people are like, Mamba mentality, Mamba mentality. Like, no, Kobe Bryant was not fucking soft.
Exactly.
And I bet he
No,
would have been like, don't get Anthony Davis. Anthony Data Davis, street clothes over there. He's soft.
because no one says, "Oh, street clothes mentality." No one says that. I'm just so
Hey, what's that outfit
yeah. I mean,
that you're wearing on the bench while the rest of your team is playing a game?
exactly like they need you out there and you're not
Gucci?
out there.
Is that Gucci?
You gotta be wearing Nike because this is not working out. So you know what? If I'm the Lakers GM, I'm screwed. I'm gonna roll with what I got. Maybe next year, when Westbrook leaves, if he's still on the team this season, there's a max spot. Great. Maybe the Lakers will somehow get somebody. I don't know who. I'm not gonna pull up the free agent list because I'm not going to. I'm not gonna do that because it's not my job. I ain't no Lakers fan no more. I'm a free agent, just like a lot of people. I'll
We'll
root for
get
Lonzo
you.
and the Bulls.
We'll get you one of those purple throwbacks with the sun across the Barkley on the back.
I don't know,
Charles
man.
Barkley, you know what I'm saying?
That's. I love Charles Barkley though. I love him and his personality and whatnot. Being a Suns fan is something not for me. I just can't roll with the orange and purple. I may have to go back to my roots where I grew up from, or not grew up, but I was born in San Francisco, and the only team that plays in San Francisco is the Golden State Warriors. But then that means I'm a bandwagon, which I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to be a free
Right.
agent and
So
then just
get
wait it
on the Suns. We haven't won yet. You can get the pre-bandwagon pass.
out.
You'll get the stamp. You get like the Visa card with the stamp before we won. You know what I mean? You'll get the pre-bandwagon verification.
Well, you know what? That's something that I'll be like Kevin Durant. I need time to make my decision to who I sign within free agency.
I
But
thought you were going to say you were going to root for the Phillies or the
oh,
76ers.
oh no, thank you. That no thanks. They got. I love Joel Embiid though. I like him.
Joel's cool. They're so
James.
they're so lucky they got rid of Ben Simmons.
Oh, don't get me started on him. Whew. You know my feelings about Ben Simmons. You know he broke up with this girl. They broke off their engagement.
Oh, good. Devin Booker broke up with Kendall Jenner too, because I feel like Kendall Jenner was really holding him back.
You think so?
You know who she dated before Devin Booker?
Blake Griffin.
Ben Simmons.
Oh yeah.
she
Oh poop.
she makes dudes forget how to play ball, dude. I'm telling you.
Maybe that's why Booker was bad in Game 7.
Yeah. Well, actually, half the team had COVID, but
Oh yeah, I remember
that
that.
was just like a
There was
side
news
note
about
because
that.
everybody was just so stoked for the Mavericks that nobody wanted to be like, yeah, and the entire Suns team had COVID, but whatever.
Well,
It's
it'll be a
it's
fun
all
NBA
how the
season.
media wants to spin it, baby. It's just like Kyler Murray playing video games.
Yeah, yep, you gotta love it.
Some other dude would have been a genius for taking $1 million off the cap.
Well, I will say this: it's been a fun show. It's was really fun, Tyler, and for you audience out there, thank you so much for listening and watching. Tyler Childers, Cardinals fan, Suns fan, and a Kyler Murray enthusiast who, you know what, I agree with. I think Kyler Murray is gonna have a great year this year, even with Hopkins out. I love the jerseys, love the helmets and whatnot. I do think Kyler is a top 10 quarterback, top 15 at most. That's like the most I'll put him. Top 5, you say. Look, this is
this time next year, top 5.
he gonna prove it. All right, I'll push it too. I'll write that down too. But like Kyler's a top 5 quarterback.
Oh, write it down. I want proof.
We'll leave it at
Anytime he
that.
comes back, I need the receipts.
That is true. That is fair enough. I will say that. I'm rooting for him. He's got a lot of criticism this past off season, which he didn't deserve, and he got to prove him wrong. So shout out to Kyler, to the Cardinals. 12-5 is what I have him. Tyler has him at 13-4, similar records, and we'll see what happens with the Arizona Cardinals and of course the Phoenix Suns. And we'll bring you back, Tyler, once the NBA season starts, or actually near it too. Don't get me started. No. You know what? For the people who are listening,
Just for the sign off, what do you got the Giants at next year?
My Giants?
Yeah, 5-12.
My 8-year-old self would say 17-0, but learning how the Giants are these days, honestly, 7 wins is a blessing. 7-8 wins is a blessing. I take 7 or 8 wins.
All right.
Yeah.
Well,
we got the easy.
Stay healthy this year.
We got the easiest schedule in the NFL, and I still got them at 8 wins. I ain't gonna lie. I'll break down the Giants schedule one of these days, but 8 wins is a blessing, and I'll take that. And
you always get the easiest schedule in the league when you play in the NFC East.
Oh yeah, that's true.
NFC East.
I know, but we gotta take advantage of that, bro. It's the weakest division. You gotta take advantage of that.
The Cards don't play y'all, do they?
No, but we will one day. One day we will. Maybe we'll have a new quarterback by then. Who knows? I got a Danny Dimes jersey though, so hopefully he's still our quarterback.
Hey, if they play each other next year in New York, though, you come up here. I'll meet you in New York. We'll go to MetLife.
All right, we'll be out there.
That's facts, though.
All right, bet that's a promise. I hope I'm not the one crying though. To be honest.
Hey, it's okay.
Someone's
got to do it.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for having me, Nate. It's been a pleasure as always. So fun talking to you. The pod's awesome.
Thank you, Tyler. And y'all can follow him at TeachShow39. And for y'all listening and watching, thank you so much for watching and listening to the Elite Champions podcast. Championship sports talk every week because we are elite. Have a great rest of your day. Follow us on Twitter, Elite Champions for Life, just the 4L. So Elite Champions 4L. And we'll see y'all tomorrow. And have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to y'all soon.